Parshas Noach, Tavshin Pei Aleph. I want to welcome everybody once again to our Nesivos Shalom Shir on the Parsha. And this week, really, with Parshas Noach, we begin through the Parshiyos of Seder Bereshis, where we speak about the Avos, the Imois, and then the Shvatim. So much to learn, so much to listen to, so much to be gained from this. But really, it starts right here in this week's Parsha, also in Parshas Noach. And the Nesivos Shalom tells us, as is the derech of the Nesivos Shalom throughout the entire Torah, that the fact that the Torah speaks about something at such great length, and look at our Parsha, the Torah speaks at such great length about the Mabul, it is definitely for a reason. And that reason is always to teach us something, to teach us a derech in Avodas Hashem. And that's why the Torah talks about things, as we keep on repeating and we keep on saying all the time, that the Nesivos Shalom is saying that the Torah is not a storybook. Although the storyline is beautiful, and the stories that are in the Torah are so, how do we say it? They're so begging to be learned deeper, and they are so begging to teach us things. However, as intriguing as they are, the Torah is there to teach us lessons, and to teach lessons for every person and every generation. And those lessons are really lessons, says the Nesivos Shalom, lessons in a derech in Avodas Hashem. And the lesson of this week's Parsha, says the Nesivos Shalom, what does the entire episode and the entire, quote, story of the Mabul teach us? It comes to teach us and comes to tell us that the Hashem is always giving us a way, no matter what is happening around us, and no matter what we are doing, Hashem always gives us a way to come back, a way to save ourselves. In other words, the Torah tells us that the entire world was full of Hamas. It was a corrupt world. And there was no choice anymore. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said there was no choice anymore at this point but to destroy the world. The world had to be destroyed. And the Torah is teaching us by telling us what happened, that Noach was able to, in all of that, find a way to save himself and shelter himself with the teva. So too, says the Nesivos Shalom, a beautiful thought, that every person, in whatever matzav, in whatever place you find yourself, every person has the capability to save themselves despite everything that is going on all around them. You can be different. You can save yourself. And the Tevas Noach symbolizes that fact. The Teva symbolizes that there is something with which every person can build a cocoon, build a Teva, and shelter yourself from the world. And the Nesivos Shalom brings a few different Chazal that tell us a few different things that act in today's generation, that act in every generation as the Teva of that time. And the first one is the Torah. Chazal tell us, Barasi Yetzer Hara, that the Yetzer Hara, HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that the Yetzer Hara, I created the Yetzer Hara, and you know what the antidote to the Yetzer Hara is? Barasi Torah Tavlin. I created the Torah as the antidote to the Yetzer Hara. The koyach of the Torah is such, the koyach of the Torah is so very strong, and it protects a person from the Yetzer Hara. And this is one of the lessons of the Nitzchias. This tells us that the Mabul, the story of the Mabul in the Torah, is not just a story, something historic that happened so many years and generations ago. The story of the Mabul tells us that even if a person is very far, as were the people of the Dora Mabul, you live in a generation where you see that things are going downhill, things are getting out of control, there is always that teva. There is a place to run. There is the koyach HaTorah that can protect a person if you learn it. If you learn the Torah and you live the ethics and the values of the Torah too, you take advantage of it. The Torah is there as a teva for all generations to rescue people, whatever matzav is going on in the world at that time. But the Nesivos Shalom tells us it's not just the Torah. There are a few things out there. There is another thing, there's another teva out there that is called the koyach of Shabbos Kodesh. That Shabbos Kodesh has the ability to save a person from a very, very distant and dark places. Shabbos is able to pull people back from very, very far things. Chazal tell us, Kol HaShomer Shabbos Ke'ilchasa. Somebody who keeps the laws, someone who keeps Shabbos Kodesh, Afilu Ovad Avodah Zarah Kidor Enosh. Somebody is Ovad Avodah Zarah, and in a bad way, and he's really, really deep into Avodah Zarah. Afilu, if he does that, if you keep Shabbos, Chazal say, Moichel in Loi. Could you imagine that Shabbos has the koyach, that if a person finds themselves in a place in their life where they've done things that they regret or they don't regret yet, people that have done things, people find themselves in places far away, sometimes far away from tradition, far away from Yiddishkeit. So the Nesivos Shalom brings this Chazal as a proof, as a raya. It's telling you, grab onto a Shabbos. Go to spend the Shabbos, keep Shabbos, do the Sudai Shabbos. You know, even us people over here, the people that are sitting right here, Avada, we know that everybody keeps Shabbos, keeps the halachos of Shabbos. But we're also talking about how do you go about your Shabbos? How do you go about your Suda Shabbos? How do you go about davening on Shabbos? When we say keep Shabbos, we mean it in all these ways. Remember that power of Shabbos is a teva. It's a place that you can step into Shabbos with your whole being and rescue yourself from the things that you are doing in your life. And even after severe averos, one can save themselves with the koyach HaTorah and the koyach HaShabbos. That is our contemporary teva. It's our place to run. It's our protection. And this is really a timeless lesson. It's not one from many years ago. It's a lesson for all generations and all Klal Yisrael. This idea that even if one is in a place that is pretty, let's use the word bad. We don't like to use the word bad, bad connotation, you know. But even if a person is in a place where you would consider yourself bad, and you consider yourself very far away, just like the Dor HaMabul, they were very far, and they were pretty bad. Hashem provides us with a teva that can protect us from the evil inclinations and further damage. There's a teva with which you can run to, and it gives us the ability. The teva gives the ability. It's not a magic potion, but the teva gives you the ability to regroup yourself. Sometimes you run and things get disorganized, right? So you're able to regroup and recover. And we know, and we see in the Torah that it was Dafka at this time of the Mabul too, that Hashem said, the world, the Mabul, everything had gone haywire. Everything had gone crazy. People had gone downhill. And it's just after the time of the Mabul that Hashem says, Lo yosif oid lekaleles ha'adamah ba'avur ha'adam. Hashem said, you know what, I'm never going to do this again. I'm not going to destroy the entire world again. What is Hashem saying? Hashem is telling us that no matter what happens, I'm never going to give up on people again. No matter how far they are, no matter what they've done, no matter where they've been, Hashem is saying, Lo yosef oid lekaleles ha'adamah ba'avur ha'adam. I'm not going to give up. You're always able to come back. You're always able to go to that place. And it's a huge message for us from this parsha. And remember that Hashem said this. Hashem said that after the Mabul, and despite the fact that there had just been this great corruption of the Dor HaMabul. So what is Hashem saying? Hashem is saying that I want you from now on. Hashem is saying to every one of us, I want you from now on to grab onto every opportunity and to hang on. And I want you to know that with that teva, with running there, you can always come back. And you know, Chazal tell us something very, very interesting, fascinating Chazal. Chazal tell us, the Medrash, that Avraham Avinu met Shem. Shem, the son of Noach. Avraham Avinu met him. And Avraham Avinu asked him, how are you able to shelter yourselves and to avoid, you're in the teva, maybe you're standing in the teva. How did you know, what made you think that the teva wasn't going to get shipwrecked? What protected you during all those days of the Mabul? This is a question that Avraham Avinu asked Shem. And you know what Shem answered? Shem answered that Hashem provided them with a way out. Hashem provided them with a way of protection during the Mabul. And you know what that protection during the Mabul was, said Shem? That was the opportunity to feed the behemoths and the chayas, to feed all the animals during the Mabul. That is what kept them going. In other words, Shem was saying that Hashem gave them a tool for survival. And you know what that tool for survival was? That was chesed. That was chesed. And here, of course, we're sitting in a building that is full of chesed, day and night, in Bika Cholim of Lakewood, especially everybody got to see during the past few months, 24/7 chesed. And chesed is not just something that's done, it's a survival tool. Hashem says another thing. Yes, you could run to the Torah. You could run and hide yourself in Shabbos. But if you want to protect yourself, you want to protect yourself while you're in the Teva. You want to protect yourself from the stormy waters, from the world that is stormy all around you. Hashem sent Shem, he sent the family of Noach the opportunity to do chesed, the opportunity just to take care of the animals, as we would take care of people, even take care of animals, whatever it is you want to do chesed. And Hashem wants us to come back through the chesed. The chesed will protect us, and that will be a schus for all of us. And whatever the schus is, whether we grab onto the Torah, or whether we run away to spend the Shabbos the way we are supposed to spend the Shabbos. Now we're starting to come, we're going to change the clock in a couple of weeks. Those of that are in Eretz Yisrael, I think they're changing this week. You're going to change the clock. You're going to have these long Friday nights. How do you spend it? Of course, you can have delicious cholent, you can have tayameh, you can have all those good things, but how do you spend your Shabbos? Are you careful that when you sit around your Shabbos table, never to say a bad word about anybody else? Stam, not to talk about other people, not to stam have idle chatter, not to hurt anybody, to make sure that you greet everyone in a pleasant manner. When you say some good Shabbos to somebody, are you already looking past them to the next person, or do you really care? Do you take out a sefer on Shabbos? Do you try to learn the parsha? Are you mavasedra? All these kind of things Hashem wants to see within the Shabbos. Torah, Shabbos, and chesed. Are you nice to people? Do you help people? Are you here to serve yourself? Or are you here to take an example of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, who does so much chesed for us? We want to give back. We want to give back to the people of the world. We want to give back. We want to have all these things to protect us. And that really is, all these things are all around us. And Hashem is saying that wherever you are in your life, there are so many things around you, but you need to grab the opportunity. You need to grab the opportunity to open your eyes. If Hashem sends you a problem, what we would consider a problem, look around. The rescue teva is not far away. Look, where does Hashem want me at this time? What does Hashem want me to do? The message of Parshas Noach is that the teva is a lesson for all generations. There's always something to protect us. There's always something to lift us up. Life is about lifting up, about being happy, about understanding that everything is an opportunity. Let us learn that lesson, the lesson of the teva this year. Let us learn it from Parshas Noach.